Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. The charges against Axel Rudakabana, he being the little Welsh Christian boy who slaughtered 3 girls in Southport, were not laid before the public immediately. In fact, there was a hell of a delay, and into that vacuum there came speculation and guesswork. There was obviously all the troubles, the riots and that, because the government were too afraid to tell the truth. Nature abhors a vacuum, and so it fills it with whatever's available. Unfortunately for the government, the guesses and speculation turned out to be accurate. And that has spectacularly backfired on them. They were hoping that they could close this story down, that they could put their spin on it, and that people would just accept that it was a mad young man, from a good family, a good Christian man. Blah, blah, blah. There were people in Southport who used their eyes. They saw, they knew. It could not be kept out. And yet, the charges involving everything were kept secret, and there were apparently good reasons for it to be kept secret, according to the powers that be. One of those good reasons is they were absolutely terrified of the general public. They were scared of us. They were scared what we would do, how we would react when we'd been told that what they'd said to us was a lie and that we were right all along. And despite Starmer locking up innocent people now, people who should not be in prison, people who spoke the truth, people who were righteous in their anger. Now, apparently these charges were not revealed for a fortnight. And this was over really these gross fears of public disorder. The revelation came as the Association of Police and Crime Commissioners warned that public anger over delaying the announcement created a real crisis within the institutions as a whole, police, the establishment, the government, and so forth. And they were saying that they should not have withheld these charges. They should have told the charges straight away, but that the government were too frit. They were too afraid because they knew that the resulting anger may well spill over. It's been revealed also that there were a lot of contingency plans by the government in this period. So they knew that there was a delay. They knew they had to publish it eventually, but they knew there'd be a delay. One of the reasons for having the delay was to create these contingency plans to clamp down on us, the plebs, the normies. Now, last week, Merseyside police announced that Rudakabana was charged with possessing ricin, a weapon of mass destruction, terrorist material, and that's on top of the 3 charges of murder and 10 attempted murders, apparently, as well, in his escape. And he will be, charged on that. But he won't be charged. Whilst he'll be charged under the Terrorism Act for possession of terrorist materials, he's not being charged under the Terrorist Act for the terroristic murder of those 3 children. And there's a reason for that, is that the government don't want the 3 children to be seen as victims of terrorism because it would create problems in this country. I'm going to suggest that not charging him with those 3 murders under the Terrorism Act will cause a lot more problems in this country, because we all know that that's the case. Now, there was over 1,000 arrests as a result of the initial crime. People rightly assumed it was a Muslim that did it. Turns out it was a Muslim that did it. And that both Keir Starmer and Yvette Cooper knew straight away, in such a very short period away. They knew. They were complicit in covering it up. They lied. They were complicit in the lies of others. because they knew that if the truth came out, they'd be paying a good price for it. It's been revealed that the CPS had to seek permission from the government to charge Rudakabana with the possession of a biological weapon. He was in possession, but the rules are such because of this, they could not just go and charge him with this because of the nature of the crime. And they had to apply to the Cabinet Office for permission, and that normally would take 24 hours. The Cabinet Office said, hold it for a week, and then further delayed it. And they, instead of charging him on the 6th or 7th of October, they were told you can charge him on the 15th. It was then changed to the 22nd, and then there was a delay furtherance of that because they wanted to delay the charging until the budget, to try and hide the news because they were so very scared. I mean, normally the CPS makes these decisions to charge them, independently, but this one particular charge they had to do. All the others they could go through, but it was the Rice in charge that they had to extend on. There was a lot of plans drawn up, and this is what I'm talking about, the contingencies. Plans were drawn up for the public charging announcement. The CPS intending, like I say, to do it earlier. However, it was bounced because of the budget. And they'd arranged for as many as 1,000 police officers to be dragged in at short notice so that there'd be sufficient cover for any riots or trouble anywhere in Britain. The Home Office, the CPS, and the Attorney General's Office have, to this day, failed to answer any questions. They have failed to make any announcements. They failed to give any good reason as to why this happened and why the delays were left. And who was even responsible ultimately for making the decision. They're not saying anything. Sources, anonymous, sources say the delay was linked to concerns from ministers, and by ministers they mean undoubtedly Yvette Cooper, that the announcement would cause public disorder. And of course, at that time, it was very, very likely to do so. But do they not think that the public deserve to know? Do they not think that we should be told about what's going on in our neighbourhoods? Do they think that the murder of 3 young, innocent girls is something that we should not be aware of as to the full reasons why and who? Now, Richard Tice has been trying to ask questions about this, and Starmer got his mate, the Speaker of the House, to ban MPs from talking about it because they're using the bullshit about, it'll protect the integrity of the trial. Bullshit. We all know who's done it. We're all aware. Nothing that can be said in the House of Parliament can possibly affect anyone's view on what everyone knows. No, this was brought in not to protect the integrity of a trial, but to protect Keir Starmer from having to face, and Yvette Cooper, from having to face awkward questions by MPs. There are some serious questions to answer, and there's some people that I think need to resign, and resign quick. Cooper, Starmer, the Chief of Police, the Crown Prosecutor, the Attorney General, all of them. We need justice to be done, and we need justice to be done quickly, and to be seen to be done. And this monster needs, I personally would dangle. I would bring that back. And then his whole family needs to be returned to wherever piece of shit country they came from and never allowed into decent, good society again. The government keep on about, it's conspiracy theories and it's, people looking for the bad things and blah, 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 blah. No, we're not conspiracy theorists. We are seekers of the truth. And when it comes to doing bad things, we're not the one on the streets murdering children in the name of some god. Keir Starmer, Yvette Cooper should hang their heads in shame, but they won't because they don't have any. And when the next children are murdered, and the next, and the next, and the next, we'll look back at this time and think, we should have done something. Thank you very much.